Despite the emotional nature of the tension surrounding Rasheeda and Kirk's marriage, nothing could have foreshadowed the startling revelation that has shocked both fans and viewers. Kirk made a choice that would challenge everything they had worked so hard to achieve again, just when we thought their relationship was improving. Rasheeda had an emotional breakdown after he spent the night with Jasmine, leaving us all wondering what would happen next. More than just a setback, this most recent transgression is a discovery that has shaken their marriage's core for years. From their brief romance to their highs and lows, the pair has always been scrutinized by the public. They have battled infidelity, reconciliations, and the challenges of raising a family in the public eye. Rasheeda's love for Kirk has always looked constant, and her emotional fragility has always been apparent despite their ups and downs. But this time something is different. Not simply another mistake in a long line of mistakes, but the decisive moment came when Rasheeda learned that Kirk had once again spent the night with Jasmine. Rasheeda's eyes conveyed so much pain and betrayal that viewers couldn't help but feel her suffering. This was about more than simply Kirk's behavior. It was about the years of trust they had built disintegrating in an instant. Why did Kirk choose to go over this cue once more? Does it indicate more serious issues in their relationship, or was it a sign of weakness? Without knowing that her husband has once again prioritized Jasmine before their family, how can Rasheeda deal with the heartache? The emotional aftermath will surely have a lasting effect on each of the characters, and the drama is just beginning. The biggest obstacle was Jasmine, a lady who came to represent Kirk's previous transgressions. It wasn't a single mistake, rather, a string of choices caused Rasheeda to lose trust and suffer severe emotional harm. The drama surrounding Kirk's affair with Jasmine, the betrayal that devastated Rasheeda to her core, the public disclosure of his infidelity, and trust concerns that have dogged their marriage from the start are just a few examples of how Kirk's actions have tested their partnership. Infidelity was a turning point in their marriage, not just a humiliating incident. Although the betrayal had injured Rasheeda terribly, she chose to fight for her marriage by publicly forgiving Kirk and giving him another chance, as seen by her vulnerability and the way she publicly processed the sorrow caused by Kirk's actions. Since then, they have made public confessions of love, attended counseling sessions, and worked through their issues in treatment in an effort to repair their relationship. Although their marriage has been the subject of ongoing public scrutiny, Rasheeda has been open about her desire to move on. Something from their own history has made it difficult. Both of them have been impacted by the pressure to maintain a flawless facade while dealing with unresolved anguish. Rasheeda has experienced an emotional roller coaster as a result of this cycle of betrayal and forgiveness. Even though she has made an effort to forgive Kirk, it is clear that the hurt hasn't entirely gone away. Each time Kirk makes a mistake, it serves as a reminder of the shattered trust and the unfulfilled promises from the past. Although Rasheeda has presented a brave front to the outside world, she nevertheless harbors an unresolved grief that serves as a reminder that forgiveness isn't always possible. There is no denying that this couple has endured a great deal, and the emotional toll is evident. One disastrous night is the subject of the most recent incident that rocked Rasheeda and Kirk's already shaky relationship. There is no denying the emotional toll that Kirk's decision to spend the night with Jasmine once more has taken on Rasheeda. But if we consider the most recent transgression, it's hard to know if she has actually forgiven Kirk or if there is a deeper hurt that has never been completely healed. There have been serious repercussions from this betrayal, but why? Was it a snap decision, or was it a symptom of a more serious issue that had been brewing for some time? Rasheeda didn't realize the reality all at once. Rather, it became apparent gradually, like a threatening dark cloud. Although there were hints, murmurs, and whispers that something wasn't quite right, the entire scope of the treachery didn't become clear until she faced Kirk head-on. When she learned that Kirk had once again spent the night with Jasmine, the emotional toll of that information was terrible. Some would contend that Kirk's behavior is a reflection of unsolved problems that have been brewing for years in his marriage to Rasheeda. Their relationship had already been tested by his prior affair with Jasmine, But this most recent betrayal raises the possibility that Kirk may not have given Rasheeda's ongoing emotional rehabilitation his whole attention. Is it possible that he hasn't really learned from his mistakes in the past? Or is he dealing with a more serious issue? In Rasheeda's case, the news was nothing short of catastrophic. Her emotional collapse was painful and raw, and her reaction showed how hurt she was to learn that Kirk had once again betrayed her trust. After everything they had already gone through, she asked how she could trust him again and move on, expressing her anguish in public, but also expressing a sense of internalized hurt. Rasheeda was compelled to confront her emotions, and it was clear that the emotional cost was high. Has Rasheeda given Kirk a call? Rasheeda's first response was obviously one of great emotional upheaval. She had been betrayed before, but this time it seemed different. She is now doubting everything in her relationship, her faith in Kirk, and her own sense of value due to the weight of the past and the recent hurt of this betrayal. For Rasheeda, this most recent occurrence represents a turning point. How will she react now is the question. Will she keep fighting for her marriage? Or is this the tipping point? The sentimental. Rasheeda has suffered an unimaginable amount of emotional damage since discovering Kirk's most recent betrayal. The hurt she is carrying is apparent in every word she says, every look she exchanges, and every quiet that persists between her and Kirk. Rasheeda is forced to cope with the consequences of the further breakdown of the already broken trust. Her self-esteem is severely damaged by this betrayal, which also makes her doubt her belief in the future she had been building. The harsh reality of broken promises and unmet expectations has replaced the trust that once existed between them, making it impossible for Rasheeda to simply look at Kirk without feeling the weight of his actions. Rasheeda has been compelled by this betrayal to examine every aspect of herself, her capacity for trust, and the value of preserving this relationship. Rasheeda sees this as more than just a partner's betrayal. It's about her trust in the person she trusted, who was meant to be her pillar of support, being undermined. Whether in private or in public, Rasheeda's collapse was inevitable since the hurt was too great to hide and manifested itself in an unavoidable way. She allowed herself to experience the anguish completely, whether it was through words, tears, or quiet moments. The raw feeling was undeniable. The crushing sense of betrayal and the knowledge that the man she loved had once again put someone else before their relationship were more important than her anger towards Kirk. During such epiphanies, Rasheeda recognized that Kirk was not the only person harmed. Acknowledged the true impact of Kirk's behavior on her mental and emotional well-being. The trust she had been trying to rebuild had once again eroded, and she realized that it wasn't just about Kirk, but also about her own healing and whether or not she could ever move on from him. Rasheeda's support system has been crucial to her capacity to manage this situation despite the emotional upheaval. Friends, family, and even fans have united to provide comfort, guidance, and encouragement. As she mourns the loss, she has turned to those closest to her for support and understanding. Her support network has provided her with a safe space to express her emotions, voice her worries, and find solace in the middle of the storm. Whether it is through her family reminding her of her worth, friends listening to her, or admirers sending encouraging notes, their assistance has been essential in helping Rasheeda stay grounded while she deals with one of the most difficult obstacles of her life, and she is not alone at this time. The healing process will eventually be hers to navigate the breaking point, even with the priceless assistance of others, but how she proceeds. The next phase of her life will be determined from this moment on. Will she decide to start over with Kirk or move on from the relationship that has hurt her so much? Though only time will tell, one thing is for sure, Rasheeda is stronger than she thinks and will triumph over this obstacle, whether Kirk is at her side or not. As the seriousness of the situation dawns on Kirk, his answer to Rasheeda's emotional collapse consists of a mix of denial, defense, and sporadic weak attempts at an apology. Kirk struggles to acknowledge how his actions have affected Rasheeda. Kirk's reaction doesn't seem to be a genuine admission of the harm he has caused, but rather an effort to defend himself. His behaviors are in line with previous infidelity tendencies, in which he usually downplays or delays accepting full responsibility for his conduct. This time, though, there is a little change in tone, a tinge of regret that he attempts to downplay the betrayal and defend his actions by downplaying the severity of the harm. Kirk is viewed by the public in a complex way, and this most recent betrayal seems like simply another episode in a lengthy string of errors. It's unclear if this regret is sincere or only an effort to protect his reputation. As Rasheeda breaks down, his actions or lack thereof seem to speak more than his words. Although Kirk may show regret, his propensity to shift the blame or downplay his involvement in the incident usually overshadows it. Kirk's past adultery is frequently brought up by the public, and it's clear that many people think this is just another example of his infidelity. The majority of fans are skeptical, even though others may think he is truly apologetic. Kirk has been perceived as a persistent criminal who has consistently violated Rasheeda's confidence. People's current perception of him is greatly influenced by his previous behavior, and many find it hard to believe that his most recent apology is anything more than an effort to maintain his reputation. One of the most crucial issues as things develop is if Kirk's redemption is still possible. Has this treachery been the final straw in their marriage, or can he regain Rasheeda's trust? It's a difficult question to answer, and Rasheeda's emotional breakdown demonstrates the extent of this betrayal's impact on her. Some believe that this is the tipping point, while others believe Kirk can change and that healing is possible. Will this be the final chapter in their tumultuous relationship, or will Kirk be able to show Rasheeda that he truly apologizes? Change in actions as well as words. Will he continue to make the same mistakes, or can he show Rasheeda that he is willing to put in the effort necessary to earn their trust again? The future of their marriage is questionable for the time being while Rasheeda copes with the consequences of Kirk's treachery, but only time will tell. Everyone is curious as to whether she will choose to patch things up with Kirk, or if this will be the final straw that ends their long-term relationship. It's hard to say how their relationship will develop after everything that has happened. Because of Kirk's serial adultery, supporters and the general public have condemned and judged him, making this moment pivotal. Will things be different this time? Will Rasheeda be able to trust him once more? Will his behavior cause their marriage to be permanently damaged? Fans have been following their relationship for a long time, so the emotional consequences are not just personal. Whether Rasheeda feels that there is still hope for them or that she has finally reached the point of no return will ultimately determine her choice. The drama's effects go beyond Rasheeda and Kirk. The discord in their relationship affects their kids, relatives, and friends as well. What are their thoughts on the matter? What impact does it have on their emotional health and how they view their parents' marriage? A lot of individuals are left questioning whether redemption is possible. Is Kirk destined to keep making the same mistakes, or can he actually change? Whether there is a chance to restore the confidence that has been repeatedly betrayed will depend on his actions in the next weeks and months. Throughout this struggle, Rasheeda has shown great strength. Despite being betrayed repeatedly, she has remained strong even when it seems like the ground is crumbling beneath her. She has been forced to think about her value and what she deserves in a relationship as a result of this experience. But as this drama develops, how much more can they bear? Though Rasheeda's loved one's support will surely be very important, she will be the only one making the final decision. Although Rasheeda and Kirk's marriage is questionable, her resilience and personal growth will undoubtedly help her make the best choice possible. Will she decide to stand up for her marriage or turn away and concentrate on getting better? Time will tell, but one thing is for sure, Rasheeda is only beginning her path to empowerment. She now understands that no one else can make her happy, and she will take the required precautions to keep herself safe moving ahead. From the exhilarating highs of love and collaboration to the heartbreaking lows of betrayal, Rasheeda's path has been nothing short of an emotional roller coaster. She has persevered through a storm that many would find impossible. Rasheeda has battled to preserve her strength, dignity, and sense of self in spite of the heartache and the numerous betrayals. Her constant determination to conquer the obstacles that have been thrown at her has been present during every difficult time. But now that what do you believe will happen to Kirk and Rasheeda next? Is there still hope for their marriage? Or will Rasheeda find the resolve to leave the hurt and betrayal behind? Is it possible to forgive, or is the harm irreparable? As Rasheeda finds herself at a turning point in her relationship with Kirk, these are the questions she needs to address. Will she realize that enough is enough? Or will she keep helping her spouse in the hopes that things will improve? Her character has been put to the test on this emotional journey, and what happens next will show whether she can actually let go of the past and welcome a new chapter with Kirk. As we await the next phase of their journey, there are still doubts that remain. Will Rasheeda continue to support Kirk, or will this be the last straw? The road ahead is still unclear as Rasheeda battles her emotions, and the emotional upheaval is far from done. Continue reading to find out the choices Rasheeda will make as she travels the challenging route of love, betrayal, and healing.